Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Screen Spice. I'm Nick Farinola, joined with Joe Ahart.
Hello.
Today's the fourth podcast, and we're gonna kind of dip our foot into different things today, like music, and Joe's gonna kind of get into that. We're gonna lead into that as well. But of course, we're gonna start with our entertainment news.
The spiciest news coming at you.
The spiciest of news, and it's there's a lot of news because it's been what? Has it been a week? It's been over a week.
It's been a week since our last one.
Cool. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, the writer of Portal 2, Team Fortress 2, and Left 4 Dead, he returns to Valve after leaving. His name is Jay Pinkerton, and he left last June for undisclosed reasons. Yeah. Portal 2 is one of my favorite puzzle games.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably my favorite. And Left 4 Dead are great games.
Left 4 Dead is awesome. Team Fortress is also really fun.
Right. Even though he's a writer, I feel like a lot of those games, Portal 2 had some writing to it, but I don't even think that they're known for their stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not even necessarily story, but just the characters are amazing. Yeah. Like GLaDOS is great, and the whole idea of Portal is like super unique. So it definitely takes like a special mind to write these games, and like you can definitely tell the Valve signature when you see these games.
For sure. I feel like Portal 2 is definitely more known for its story. More so than Team Fortress 2 or Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, because like those games are mostly just multiplayer. Yeah. So it's like you kind of have a world built, but not much substance.
Right.
But Portal actually has the campaign, which has a little story to it.
Yeah, and the co-op experience is awesome. I love playing that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So the Black Ops 4 beta was released this past Friday for PS4 users only, and those who pre-ordered it. And it's releasing on this upcoming Friday, which I believe is the 10th for Xbox, and then PC is a little bit later. So they actually released a beta trailer before it came out on this past Friday, which teases Blackout, which is their Battle Royale mode. And it looks to be promising, like there's vehicles in it. To be honest with you, I really don't think it's going to be anything that big, but I could be completely wrong, and it could catch on as big as Fortnite. Personally, I don't think that's going to work, but I do appreciate them, since they axed out campaign, that they're now kind of bringing in another whole mode, because it just seems like a slimmer package without the campaign.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think the campaign always kind of made Call of Duty's like pretty big. Definitely they were slacking with like the last few. Although World War II was pretty good, I thought. Did you play that one?
I loved the story. I couldn't really get into the multiplayer. I don't know.
No, yeah, I was saying I'm the same way. Like I thought the story was pretty good. It kind of felt like an old Call of Duty title, like Big Red 1 or something.
Right. Had the pickup health box too. Yeah.
And then multiplayer, was kind of left a lot to be desired. Yeah. But oh well.
Yeah, but so the beta trailer basically, when you get the beta, you have 6 maps at your disposal, which I believe is half of what we're gonna get. There better be more. There better be a lot of maps, is what I'm saying, because it's
just multiplayer.
It's a multiplayer focused package basically, and there's gonna be 6 game modes. I've been watching a lot of gameplay of like live streamers and stuff. It looks fun. Like I'm definitely gonna play the beta, but I just can't shake the feeling that it just doesn't really feel or look that it's changed that much, and that's what bothers me about it. Like some things that they have changed, which I've heard a lot of streamers say, and I've also watched it in the gameplay, is that the movement speed was greatly increased. So you can slide a lot faster, you can run a lot faster. But one drawback to that is that you can get spawn killed a lot quicker.
For sure.
I mean, I've heard 2 different things: that it takes more time to kill a person, and I've heard it takes less time to kill a person. I don't know. I don't really know. But the faster movement means you can get across the map faster. And
that's probably the reason, is because since they're adding a battle royale, if they're gonna have these like massive maps, I assume like they're probably gonna have to like have you at least like haul a little ass, because if you're not, then like
but there are vehicles. Take forever. But they're vehicles though,
Is there like a lot of vehicles? Because I imagine like vehicles might be like something rare. Because I don't know. I've never played PUBG. I played it like once, and I know there's like a few vehicles. I don't know if they're like a huge part of it, or if they're just kind of like special things you get. But
I mean, in the beta trailer, when they teased Blackout, there was there seemed to be a lot of warthog looking things. And,
okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I can't really judge off of the one trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, Epic Games, I wrote has now made around 5 to 8 billion off of Fortnite, which is not surprising. It's the number one game. It's the top game.
I feel like every podcast we've had so far, we have another how much money Fortnite has made topic.
It's honestly just great. Good for them. They've created.
Yeah, I mean,
they've changed the gaming generation. Yeah. But it's just not. I wish it was my cup of tea. I wish I was excited about that. You know what I mean?
I wish I was 12 years old.
I don't know. I just wish I was in that demographic.
No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, you know, and like hopefully, like I said, like people take on Battle Royale but make it better and like kind of just can tweak it and make it more of like a interesting thing.
Personally, I don't know. When I'm playing Battle Royale, I just get so pissed because when you die, you're done. You have to load back up. Yeah. It's so frustrating. Thing, and I don't have the patience for that. But that's just me. Okay, so next, Microsoft was teasing a new Xbox for the next generation, but there's going to be two Xboxes. Listen to this. There's going to be one traditional console, which is key named Scarlet. That's the code name. And then there's going to be a cloud-based streaming console.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's whatever. Take that how it is. When the next Xbox comes out, I'm gonna get the traditional console. I personally just don't like cloud-based anything.
Yeah.
But that's pretty interesting that they're releasing two consoles. Let's see how they swindle their way at getting people's money.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. I feel like that because I wonder. It's like you're probably gonna have the base console. I imagine probably what they'll do is like they'll have the cloud-based one integrated with the normal one somehow, or be like, oh, if you want to play this, you gotta get the cloud version for another $400 or something like that. I don't know. I'm not Microsoft CEOs, but
ridiculous.
We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we have to wait and see when they actually. I mean, right now it's kind of like a code name Scarlet. Well, I guess we'll figure out what it's actually called in the future. But they're working on the tech, and it should be releasing within the next couple of years, which kind of sucks because I feel like Xbox One came out in 2013, which wasn't that far. It wasn't that long ago.
No.
And it sucks because these consoles are getting more expensive. Like, when Xbox and PS4 first came out, what, $500?
Yep.
And what's this next one going to be?
Probably like
800, not 800, but
some probably close to that. I imagine for like the more upgraded ones, I wouldn't doubt. Plus, like getting the games and stuff.
It's a lot of money.
Yep.
But I don't know. So huge news this week. If you're a Venom fan, they just released the new. I guess you can consider this trailer 3 if you consider the first trailer a teaser. But the new Venom trailer came out, and they finally revealed Riot, and they kind of gave us a closer look of what Venom, how tall he is, gave us more of his voice. And I personally, besides the turd joke at the end, think it looks awesome. I think it looks so cool. What about you?
I really love the look of Venom. Like, I think they nailed, kind of doing the classic design.
Yeah.
It does feel weird that he doesn't have the Spider-Man logo on him, but, like, I'm sure, like, that's not going to be a bothersome thing.
It didn't bother me.
I'm not concerned for Tom Hardy's performance. Tom Hardy's a fantastic actor. Mm-hmm. His accent is just very not great. Yeah. I feel like it's just very thick, and, like, I think he's trying to do this kind of New York thing, but he kind of sounds like he's, like,
foreign.
Chewing carrots or something. like I don't know why he's like going for such like a thick accent instead of just trying to be like a normal kind of sounding guy. But other than that, it looks super cool.
And I'm really digging Venom's voice too. I think it sounds so cool, and I love the end part of the trailer where he's like, I'm gonna eat your legs, and then I'm gonna eat your arms, and then I'm gonna eat your face, and then I think that's so cool. But then he says like a turd in the wind, and I was like,
I don't know.
What?
I don't know who thought that would work with that sequence of writing, but like
I'm not big in the comics for Venom. I just recently bought a Venom comic, and it had a very serious tone. There was nothing. I haven't read the past comics. Maybe it has more of a satirical tone to it, but this one did not. And after watching that trailer, based off of only one comic that I read, it just seemed like forced humor.
He seems kind of just like
humor.
Yeah, like an over the top character.
Yeah.
And I've heard from some people, like, I've never read a Venom comic, so like take whatever I say with a grain of salt, but I've heard people say he's supposed to be kind of like overly edgy at times, and like kind of like, I guess like the turd in the wind joke is kind of like almost him trying to be kind of like over the top, I guess. I'm not saying that kind of justifies the joke. I still think it was pretty bad, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I think I would like to see some humor from Venom, because it's just kind of like a ridiculous like kind of concept too. So I don't mind a little humor, but if they go for like a Avengers level of humor with it, that's where it's gonna get dangerous.
Yeah. I'm very excited. After that trailer, I have to say I'm very excited about because I got more of. Hopefully, we see a lot more of Venom. I hope it's not like one of those typical origin stories where the last
You only see him at like 30 seconds.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so I don't know. I feel good about it. I think it's going to be great, and that comes out on October 5th. So we'll wait for when that comes out. So game releases, we got WarioWare Gold, which came out this past Friday. I played Wario Smooth Moves back on the Wii.
I remember that.
And that game was
was
so
a
much
fun game.
For those of you who don't know WarioWare, it's kind of like a collection of micro games that take a lot of different things from different Nintendo games. Like there's a Yoshi micro game, and then there's original micro games. But this WarioWare Gold edition, which comes out for the 3DS, it has over 300 micro games.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, and it's so fun. It's personally I wouldn't pay $40 for it. But if you want to get into the series, it's a great place to start instead of going backwards.
Now, is it just on 3DS or is it on like Wii as well or Switch?
From what I know, it's just on 3DS.
Okay.
There might be a Switch version, but this release is for 3DS.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So in other news, since Mission Impossible Fallout came out, a week ago now?
I think so, yeah.
I was watching one of those behind the scenes footage, and this isn't a surprise, but Tom Cruise is actually the first actor ever to do a Halo jump on camera.
Really?
Yeah, he's the first ever to do a Halo jump, and he did it. They said over 100 times. Like this guy is just insane, and that's why Mission Impossible kicks ass, and that's why he's one of the best probably the best action star in Hollywood.
He's just so like I've never like there's no other star that's just that dedicated to the craft to like literally put themselves at risk.
Yeah.
To like just get a cool sequence or anything.
And he did it with a broken ankle.
Yeah.
Still with a broken ankle.
Like, that was after he broke his ankle?
Yeah. So 6 weeks until he got back into the thing. But the thing I remember him saying in the interview, he was like, "Yeah, my ankle was still pretty broken, and I did it over 100 times." This man's crazy, but you know what?
How many like safety like OSHA like people do you think he has to like get around to like? Because like I bet there's so many people who would be like, "Mr. Cruz, please don't. Like you're gonna hurt yourself." Yeah. And he's like, "No."
I just don't understand what goes through Tom Cruise's mind, but he just finds
he's just a one of a kind guy.
He just finds a way to top every single movie.
Yeah.
And personality wise, I just see him kind of how they represented him in South Park, or as the fudge packing industry. But he just the talent on him is just incredible, and I can't that I watched Fallout. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I haven't seen it
but
yet,
it's awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, it's so good. One of the best action movies of the year. Definitely check it out. In other news, Topher Grace, so you know him from Eric on That 70s Show and Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. Joe, you're going to like this. He recut the entire Hobbit trilogy to a 2-hour film, a singular film.
He did that with the Hobbit trilogy as well.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Because he did that with I think the prequels.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he like did like a super cut of those, or he made it like in a certain order to watch too. Like it's kind of like disjointed, but yeah, good for him.
Do you know why he did that though?
Why?
It's really interesting. So he plays David Duke in Spike Lee's upcoming Black Klansman, and David Duke apparently he's like this horribly racist white supremacist rather in the movie, and from the role he suffered major depression after portraying David Duke in the movie, and he said that by cutting the Hobbit trilogy into a singular 2-hour film has like helped his depression immensely.
Oh,
and that's why
so
he
it's
did
just
it.
Something he can like kind of channel and like, focus his energy on and stuff. Oh, okay.
He said some people deal with depression in different ways, and this has definitely helped him. He said, which is awesome.
Good for him.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I wonder if he'll release it to the public, which would be really cool.
I'd love to see that because like that's what everyone said about those movies. It'd be good if it were like one movie or like one or two maybe, but like
because I thought the first and the third were the worst. The second one was my favorite.
I thought the first was okay. The second I thought Smog was cool, and I thought there was some cool parts, and then the third I thought was garbage.
Yeah, it just wasn't great.
It was just like felt like you were watching like a long video game cutscene because everything just looked very fake.
Or a wannabe third Lord of the Rings.
And it tried to go really grand and epic when it didn't need to as well. It's just, It
was okay. So Han Solo's jacket is expected to be auctioned for $1 million.
It's $1 million, yeah. That's crazy.
So if you guys want to go out and buy it, I know you'll be competing against Joe
I think
and
it
I.
was his Empire jacket, right?
One of those. But yeah, let's go out and auction. So as we said in the last podcast, so episode 9 of Star Wars started filming this past Friday. Or no, I'm sorry, it's this past Wednesday, August 1st, they started filming it. And J.J. Abrams released the first on-set picture on his Instagram. It's just kind of like a heavy-duty camera, and very, very faintly in the background you can see a blurry fin.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like a blue. I think it was like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
they were in.
It looked like it.
It was like kind of like that round hallway area.
It was cool. So have you ever heard of the like old fighting games Def Jam, which is kind of just took all rappers and hip hop artists and put them in a match and you beat the shit out of each other?
Yeah.
It's like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
For rappers. So they said that they actually are teasing a sequel to one of them. I think it was Vendetta, maybe, or Icon. But they said this on one of the social medias. They said, hypothetically, who would you like to see? I think it was on Twitter, but who would you like to see on the cover if this game made a comeback? So they are teasing it.
That could be interesting. I feel like that'd be really cool. Like, I feel like you'd have a lot of cool characters to work with.
I'd love to beat the shit out of 6ix9ine if I was, you know what I mean?
Bungy's just like the most OP character too.
No, I think that would be so funny if they put him in the game.
He's like an unlockable
Yeah, because this generation of rappers is just so there's just so many crazy personalities, which we'll get into today. But there's so many crazy personalities that I want to introduce you to, Joe. But basically, a little timeline: Vendetta. Def Jam Vendetta was released in 2003, then Fight for New York was released in 2004, and then Icon was released in 2007. So that's a little timeline if you guys want to check out that game. It's pretty cool. Then, in other news, I saw that the original creator of the Japanese version of The Grudge filed a breach of contract suit against the upcoming Sony film.
Yeah.
Honestly, this goes against a lot of things, but Hollywood it's well known is just creating sequels and prequels and taking things that are already made and are good and are rebooting them. It's just stupid.
Now they're making another Grudge.
That's what it seems like.
So why not sue them for like the original American remake? Or
that's right. Yeah. Maybe just they don't have a specific copyright or it
could be some obscure legal reason. But
I do not have the knowledge.
I think regardless, no one wants another Grudge movie.
Or the Japanese did do it the best. Yeah, it's theirs in the first place.
I think it was called like Huan or something. It was terrifying. Yeah, like Japanese horror is like a whole nother level in my opinion.
Yeah, it's they're pretty fucked up, but they make good movies. Koreans too make really good horror movies. Have you ever seen Train to Busan? It's a zombie movie.
I've heard.
Check that out.
A lot of things
it's on
about
Netflix.
That, yeah,
it's so good, really creepy. Except I don't like when the zombies are like marathon sprinters. They're so fucking fast. It's like Dawn of the Dead. Because I like it because it's scary, but I don't like it because it's scary. Yeah. But yeah, that's watch Train to Busan if you guys haven't watched that. It's on Netflix right now. It's a great Korean film. So I don't know if you've ever heard about this. I'm not big into board games, but Gloomhaven is one of the best board games of all time.
Gloomhaven.
According to something God is Geek or whatever the board game website is. And it's now getting a video game. Which looks, if there's a teaser trailer, it doesn't really show any gameplay. It looks okay. I'm probably not gonna buy it. But the board game sold 120,000 copies. It sold all of their copies, so they have to make more.
Wow. That's
how popular it is. And it kind of makes me want to try it out. So
do you know what kind of like style game it is?
It's a fantasy. It's fantasy. I don't know what kind of style it is, but it's a fantasy type game. It looks like a dungeon crawl type of
thing. Okay, kind of like a role play kind of.
Yeah. I tried it out, but board games are oddly so expensive.
Honestly. Like I remember I was back in college, like we got into like Risk a lot. We would borrow it from like our hallmates, and then one day we wanted to invest in a set of it, but it was like $50. It's
crazy.
It was ridiculous.
That's cheap for board game standards.
Yeah. But even that, we're just like, we're in college, you can afford that.
You're better off just getting it on anything on Amazon.
Amazon cheap. Or like even eBay, just get like a used version.
So this is actually really funny. So, have you ever heard of the old horror movies Puppet Master?
Yes. Yeah.
So they just released the trailer for The Littlest Reich. It looks fucking insane. It's supposed to be, they advertise it as the goriest movie ever made.
Oh, God.
And if you don't know Puppet Master, it's about these, like, dolls that have the souls of Nazis in them.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you're like how did someone come up with this?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's so funny.
Yeah.
And The Littlest Reich, it is actually written by some pretty well-known horror writers. I think one of them was one of the writers of Cabin in the Woods. Don't quote me on that, but they had some pretty well-known names when they were playing it in the trailer. I was like, Jesus, okay. But this looks really funny. I think it's coming out this fall or sometime soon, and I can't wait to watch. We should watch that together and maybe even do a whole podcast on it. And we should do maybe watch the entire series, which would be fun. I don't know. I think
Puppet Master series coming up next.
I think there's like 4 movies. Littlest Reich being the 4th. I'm not sure though. Back on the Black Ops 4 beta, it's actually a 31 gigabyte beta download. So if you guys don't have space, start making some space if you want to play it. And the level cap is 25. So yeah, just if you want to, we should play the beta together just to kind of.
I'm not to try free, so I have plenty of room on my Xbox, so
yeah. This is exciting. If for any Fargo fans, season 4 is coming up, and Chris Rock is set to star in it.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor was in the last one. Patrick Stewart, who's the guy from Insidious? Not Patrick Stewart.
You know
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He played the father.
Patrick
Wilson?
Pat Wilson? Maybe.
I think it's him, but he was in season 2, and personally season 2 was my favorite. That took place back in the 70s, I think, 70s
yeah,
80s.
Season 2 was 70s.
And then I didn't watch the 3rd season, but I heard it was fantastic. And Fargo's just one of those shows that kind of is just low-key really great.
Yeah.
It's on
really
FX.
is, yeah.
And it's coming soon. Chris Rock is going to be in season 4, so check that out. And if you haven't watched the series, get into it. I'd say watch the movie first.
Yeah,
because it kind of
the movie is like a masterpiece.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
The movie is so good.
So give that a watch. Ninja just reached 10 million followers on Twitch.
Woo!
He, I don't watch him, but
me neither.
Damn, good job.
Yeah.
One of my friends, he just went to the Astroworld, Travis Scott Astroworld concert. By the way, check that album out. It's fucking awesome. But he went to the after party as well because his dad is like one of the producers of Transformers. So he's just got more money than he can handle. Yeah. And he took a Snapchat of Ninja with his pink hair, taking shots by shots by shots, and it was crazy. And because Ninja is a big hip hop fan, and I believe he played with Travis Scott on Fortnite with Drake and Juju from the Steelers.
Insane. Yeah.
But yeah, it was really funny seeing him in the Snapchats. But yeah, no, good for him.
Yeah.
So on Crackdown 3, we said how Microsoft was saying, you can't delay this anymore. It's coming out on February 22nd, 2019, whether you like it or not. The devs said it's pretty much done. Okay, so if it's pretty much done, why isn't it out yet? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is it not out yet? The game's making me nervous. I'm very excited for Crackdown, but I love the older ones. But come on,
Yeah, just get your shit together.
If it's done, release it. Okay, and that I believe is all of the gaming and entertainment news that I had for this week. So now we're gonna jump into the bulk of our podcast, which is about music.
Yep.
And what we wanted to do was take an artist that we each like of different genres of music and kind of show each other, play the songs for everyone on the podcast, and give a little introduction and explain why we like them and why they should be on your radar too. So Joe, why don't you go first? And if you want to pull out your phone when you start up the song, like give a little introduction, play the song, and then I can comment on it and just explain it. So
okay,
handing it off to you.
We could also just like edit the song into it, or like
we could,
like a slip of it,
right?
Okay. So generally, my music taste is kind of all over the place. I don't have a particular favorite genre. I would say mostly like alternative is my favorite. Like favorite band, just for the records, like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Just I grew up on them. They're fantastic. Always fun to listen to. But recently, there's one band that I think I've really followed for a long time. Back in high school, I discovered them, and since then, like they've only been like they just recently released an album, and that's Gorillaz. And I know you're a big fan too.
I'm a big fan of Gorillaz. Yeah.
So, Gorillaz recently released their newest album, The Now Now. They released that, I think,
June 29th?
June 29th, I think. Yeah, 27th or 29th, something like that. And the more I listen to this album, I actually appreciate it a lot more and more as I keep listening to it, because a couple of years ago, I think it was back in 2016, they released their song, or no, it was 2017. They released Humans, which was their big comeback album.
Humans was great. I loved Humans.
Yeah. Humans, though, my gripe with it was there wasn't a lot of Damon Albarn, who's one of the original creators of the Gorillaz. He was also in I think it was Blur, the band. That was like his original band, but he wasn't in it a lot because there was just a ton of like guest artists, and it was very experimental and like kind of just unique. Like every song felt totally different, which I mean that's like what Gorillaz does best. Like they're very good at just creating, you know, new sounds, kind of mixing genres together and just creating like very interesting songs through that. And like that's why they're like with like Clint Eastwood and stuff in their debut album, they were really like ahead of the curve.
Right.
Definitely the Now Now is like a much safer album opposed to that. Like it's more consistent in its tone. Like you can listen to this whole album and it feels like a full album. Whereas I thought Humans felt a little disjointed at points and like kind of just sometimes had sometimes some weaker ones, sometimes some really good songs too.
Right.
But the thing about the Now Now, someone this was actually YouTube. I don't know if you watched the Needle Drop
No.
reviews.
No.
So he's just like a music review guy, and he described this newest album as it's a day on the beach that you're too sad to enjoy. And I loved the way you described that, because that's honestly like a really good way to describe this new album. It's like it's a very beachy kind of like West Coast vibe to it, like very kind of summery vibes, but it also kind of has like, since Damon Albarn's like very vocal about just not liking technology a lot and being very kind of pessimistic about the future, it definitely just has that like within the lyrics and stuff. So you'll be listening to like the beat and it's all upbeat and like fun, but then he's singing about like really kind of darks and sad stuff. So it's a really interesting sound in that case. But I would say the one song that really stuck out to me a lot was kind of like, I think it was the first one that debuted. It's called Humility.
Okay.
Great music video too. It's just I don't know if you're familiar with the Gorillaz characters, like
yeah.
2D and Murdoch.
Noodle.
And a weird thing, Murdoch got replaced by a character from Powerpuff Girls.
Yep. Replaced?
So the whole story is like he's in prison, and so they got this character from Powerpuff Girls.
Mojo Jojo?
No, I wish, but like it's I forget the guy's name, but it's like the literal character, and they just replaced him as the bassist because he kind of looks similar. It's really weird. I don't know.
Do you know which character?
I forget his name. He's one of the villains. He's like green and he's got like sunglasses and long hair. I forget. He looks like Murdoch, honestly.
Okay.
But music video is great. Jack Black's in it. I'm a huge Jack Black fan.
Jack Black's in it?
Yeah, he's just like kind of goofing around on his guitar and stuff. But yeah, no. So this song is definitely, I thought, at first I was not impressed because it was so safe sounding. But as I've listened to it in context of the whole album, I've definitely grown to appreciate it more.
And it's the first track on the album.
Yeah.
Humility.
Yep.
I'm noticing that they have Snoop Dogg as a feature on.
Yeah. So they had I don't know if Snoop Dogg was on Humans. I know
No,
he was on.
He wasn't.
Okay, he was on Plastic Beach though. He was one of their big artists on that.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was good they had Snoop Dogg back. Who else? Yeah, who else were some of their stars?
I'm trying to see. In Humans, they had Vince Staples featured on that.
He was in Andromeda.
Awesome. And I'm looking right now that in Drum there was a lot more Pusha T. There was a lot more features on Humans.
There's a lot more. It was a big collaborative
on the
album.
Now.
Yeah.
So I guess the other one was more like a mixtape.
Yeah, essentially, and like that's like I think that's one thing that makes Gorillaz great is like how much like collaboration they do, and that's like where Damon Albarn like definitely succeeds most is like when he's like working with other artists and kind of bouncing off their sound. But I just kind of like this album because it was very. Like, I guess it was kind of simple. Like, it's very great for, like, just background noise if you want to, like, put it on and, like, do work or whatever. Like, this is a really good album for that.
Okay. We are back, and we just listened to, what was
That was Humility by the Gorillaz off their newest album, The Now Now.
And that was really cool. You're right that it is very different. It has that beachy vibe to it that I can definitely put this on at the beach and really enjoy
for
it.
sure.
I didn't really get a chance. I have to listen to it again to really listen to the lyrics, but it sounded really fun. Is there any more you want to say about it?
I guess not too much more. It's just very. I'm kind of glad that it almost feels like a polar opposite to Humans.
Yeah.
Which, as much as I liked Humans, I liked that this had more of an album vibe rather than just kind of like a mixtape. Because putting on Humans, I would kind of put on one or two songs and then kind of be done. Whereas this one, I can put on the full album. And honestly, every song, while they kind of blend together and none are particularly super strong, I don't think there's any particularly weak ones either. They're all pretty just solid tracks. Right. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't listened to it already. So yeah, it's the Now.
It's on Spotify.
Apple Music,
SoundCloud.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. So give that a check. Watch that.
Yeah.
Watch the music video. But so now it's my turn. So basically, I was gonna play Lil Peep for you because I'm a huge fan of Lil Peep. I just really love his music, and it's unfortunate that he died. But I was gonna share that with you, but you have gone on your own terms and watched and listened to some of Lil Peep yourself. Yeah. But just really quickly, what are your thoughts? What did you think of Lil Peep?
Definitely very talented guy.
Didn't use all of his potential. He could have been something
absolutely
amazing.
Not. Yeah, and that's what's really tragic about it, because it's you definitely just kind of, even in his songs, he had his own, compared to a lot of trap and rap today, he had his own kind of just sound.
He kind of he mixed together two genres, which was emo and hip hop.
Yeah,
and that's
and
what
I feel
really cool.
It's very rare, especially for someone so young, to really create their own sound like that. Right. And when you do see someone like that, it's just even more impressive.
Yeah, so he died at the age of 21. He died November 15th, I think, which was his birthday was on November 1st. I remember when it happened. He died. For those of you who don't know, he overdosed on Xanax. It was fake Xanax that was laced with fentanyl.
Yeah.
Lil Peep was basically, I'll give you a background. He was born in Long Island, New York. Never really fit in at school, even though he was very, very smart. He was on the principal's list, the dean's list. He never finished high school, but he got his GED after. He was. When you first look at him, you judge him based off of his face tattoos and all the tattoos and the way he acts and stuff. But deep down, he's a very dark person.
Yeah.
He was known for loving his fans. He was very funny in some of his videos, but he had an insane drug problem.
Yeah.
Especially during high school and even now, where he would try everything. He loves cocaine. He loved Xanax, especially. That was his number one drug. Loved to smoke a lot of weed. Not that is a bad thing, but he just had it. He said in a lot of interviews how depressed he was, and even though he found fame, and he was at the time of his death, he was worth $100,000, which is a lot for a 21-year-old. And now after his passing, his passing changed a lot of the young generation of hip hop's perspective on pills like that, like Xanax. Lil Xan, which he's up and coming, who's actually pretty good. If you give him a chance, he moved past his name. I think he's actually switching his name to Diego because that's his real name. His real name is Diego Leaños. But he was known as Lil Xan, but his whole thing, his first album is called Total Xanarchy. And Xanarchy meaning a revolution against Xanax. Yeah. So that's why he's kind of making a switch from Lil Xan to Xanax. It's all thanks to, unfortunately, to Peep's passing. But I can do more on Peep if you guys want to hear more about Peep. He's a great artist. I listen to all his songs, even though there's not that many, unfortunately. But his two mixtapes before his studio album, which is Come Over When You're Sober Part 1, but the other two, Crybaby and Hellboy, are awesome. They're so good. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely check that out. But anyway, I want to talk to you about, have you ever heard of Juice WRLD?
Juice WRLD? No, I have not.
So his real name is Gerard or Jared. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but it's spelled Jarad. Gerard Higgins. He's from, let me see, let me get my facts about him. He's up and coming, but
is he hip hop?
Yes, he's mostly hip hop, but he's only 19 years old, and he just recently signed a $3 million deal with Interscope in March. He's from Chicago, Illinois. Not from the city, but it's Calumet Park, Illinois, if I'm pronouncing that wrong. He's only 19 years old, but he's started to make a name for himself. And I watched an interview, and he was talking about his life before that. He suffers with extreme depression. If you watch his stuff on Twitter, he's constantly posting things like that are very obvious signs that he needs help. Which is so sad because he's and he was very, very badly affected by X and Peep's passing. And the one song that I want to show you today is called Rich and Blind, which is off his mixtape Legends. It's such a great song. It's very emotional if you listen to it. Listen to the lyrics on this one. It's just a really sad song. So good though, great beat, and it sounds like you can feel his pain when he's rapping, basically. But he did an interview, and he started to get some notoriety when a lot of people know him for All Girls Are the Same, and that was directed by Cole Bennett, and has 40 million views on YouTube, and he's now doing collaboration with Ski Mask, which is coming up. But the Cole Bennett one really kind of brought him up, and I believe that one was off of his mixtape Goodbye and Good Riddance, which is really good. You should check that out too. His name Juice WRLD actually comes from, so the Juice part comes from a Tupac movie of the same name, and then World, which is spelled WRLD in all caps, he came up with that on the spot before show. He thought it sounded cool. That's a little backstory. He was mentioning in the interview that he used to be a very social kid, but now he feels that he's changed. He says he communicates through his music now. And interestingly enough, he has a very broad range of music. Like he said, 1 minute I can be listening to Ozzy Osbourne, and then the next minute Chief Keef. Then those people inspire him, as well as Kid Cudi, Eminem, and Travis Scott. And one quote I pulled from the interview, which was really interesting, he said that I want people to know that they're not alone through his music. And that was the interview with Pigeons and Planes, if you guys want to check that out on the internet. So, and in Rich and Blind, he mentions that this is for the people that are feeling low, that are tired of struggling. So that song and his music is kind of comforting in a sense if you're ever feeling down. But I'm going to stop talking and play it for you. It's a really great song.
When was his first debut?
His first song?
Yeah,
his
or
mixtape?
when did he kind of come around?
I'm not sure. Maybe a year or something. But he mentioned in the interview as well that he only worked one job, and it was a factory job, and he worked there for a day and then quit. Wow. So he hasn't had a job, and now through all this hard work and stuff, he's here. But this is called Rich and Blind by Juice WRLD. All right. So that was Rich and Blind by Juice WRLD off of the mixtape Legends. So first thoughts, what did you think of it?
I thought it was good. Yeah. I thought, I think definitely having context behind it made it a lot more, I think it kind of made it a lot more moving, because just kind of knowing kind of what he's trying to express through the music, and just kind of what it's directed towards, kind of just it does kind of just open your eyes a lot on a lot of the kind of music or just people behind the music who have drug problems, and how widespread of an epidemic that is. And
depression as well.
Depression and anxiety and all that. It's just it's something that honestly so many people don't it affects all of us, I feel especially this generation. And it's just kind of hearing stuff like that, and having these artists who people look up to, and when they kind of bring themselves down to such a humble level like that, and express themselves in such a bare way through their music, I feel it's just so, it's kind of just relieving, right. It's I think it's really good. So I thought that was a very real song, which I liked. Right.
It's I don't know, whenever I listen to it and I feel kind of upset or something, it just kind of, it's a sad song. He talks about his soul. All you'll find is something rich and blind. And he says, why do we live just to die? So there are some of the lyrics are just so, what's the right word, potent, tangible, and they're just everything is so real, and it's insanely emotional. The beat is amazing. It works so well with his lyrics. And I just went on his Twitter just to support what I was saying. So over the past 2 days, he was saying nightmares come true is one tweet, emotional combat followed by a broken heart. And and just a lot of people supporting him. Like he's in one tweet he said not that easy, and then Smokesack basically said, "Love you, brother. 999. Keep up the good work. I'm always here for you." And his fans are always helping him out, but he just seems very upset. And if you want to see a picture, that's a picture of Juice WRLD right there. Okay. But he's a great artist, up and coming. And yeah, just look out for him. I wanted to show you that song because it's something that I've been playing over and over and over and over again. And there's actually another song that's dedicated more so to Peep and X. It's called Legends. If you want to check that out. Yeah. But yeah, no, he's one of my favorite up and coming artists, and he just signed a $3 million deal with Interscope in March. So he's doing well for himself.
Hope to hear more from him.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah, that's all I had. I wanted to show you Juice WRLD. And if you guys like what we're doing, where we're showing, where we do some podcasts that focus mainly on music, because I personally like doing. I'm more hip hop,
right,
and you're more like rock and alternative. Yeah. So we kind of have those two different genres, and I like yours, and are you a fan of hip hop? So if you guys want to hear more of that, I'll bring in more. Like I'll play Peep because Peep is one of my favorites. I can bring in X. I love X. You can bring in more if you want to.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's all I had for this podcast. Is there anything else you want to talk about or say?
Trying to think if there's anything else. Nah, I mean, I think, pretty much. I think we talked about everything we did. I've got all the news out.
But yeah, if you wanna, if you guys definitely check out the artists that we just told about. I mean,
for sure.
Gorillaz have years upon years worth of work, and way more albums.
Is Juice WRLD on Spotify?
He's on Spotify.
Okay.
I don't think don't quote me on this, but I don't think he has like an actual studio album out.
Okay.
Because he signed with Interscope back in March. But I think he is working on one titled 999. So just check out his mixtapes. Some of it, Cole Bennett's video on YouTube. He just released another one that was directed by Cole Bennett as well. I forget the name of it, but it was awesome also. It was him in like an AA meeting, but it wasn't for alcoholics. It was just kind of talking about themselves. Like his stuff is very, it's depressing, but it's interesting because you learn. And I feel like a lot of hip hop is like, I fuck bitches, I snort a lot of cocaine, you know what I mean? Like I shoot people and I kill people, but we're like DMX. But like
6ix9ine,
I feel like a lot of these up and coming artists have something to say.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of them do stupid things. Like Lil Xan kind of called out Tupac. He said that someone asked him like, "Oh, what do you think about Tupac?" He's like 2 at like a rating scale out of 10. And people flipped on him like you should be kicked out of the music industry. Basically, a lot of people.
That's just like I feel like that's just the new generation. They'll always like shitting on.
But that's the thing. The new generation also respects what brought hip hop together. Like Lil Xan basically called up Lil Xan, or Yachty called up Lil Xan and was like, "Dude, you fucked up. You can't do that. You got to respect Tupac."
Right.
But people have opinions. He just doesn't. I'll bring in some Lil Xan songs too, but he's really interesting. If you watch, I think he's 21 as well, but he's a little fucker. He's funny,
he's fun to watch.
he's had a bad Xanax problem as well, but he's over that. He's Xanax free, but he's still on Narcos, which is another pill. He's a lot on Lil Xan that we'll talk about. But that's all I had for today. What about you? Are you all good?
Set, yeah.
So next week we will be doing podcast number 5. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We'll bring something original every time. But thank you guys for watching, and look out for podcast number 5 next week.
All right. Catch you later.
Goodbye.